Thank you for the mini concert. That was beautiful. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome. Looks like we have Dr. Maurita who will be doing our service this morning. We have Rebecca Hall on her beautiful silver flute. Oh no, it's not even. Oh, yes, I was going to say, oh no, it's not the silver one. It's the brown one. Playing for us as our special guest musician this morning, and of course we have Rick on the piano, as usual. So if you would please put your phones on silence during the service, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I better turn on my sound here. I'm alive.
Yes.
I look alive and I'm alive this morning. What a pleasure to see you here, to be with you. I've been away and I've missed you, but it was a wonderful, wonderful trip. And I want, of course, to say the very same thing to those people who are looking at us on the internet today or sometime this week, who knows. Everybody is so welcome. I'm so glad to see you. Wonderful. Well, it's always wonderful to get home, isn't it? Absolutely. Well, I do not have I do have a Bible verse to share with you. And it's from Colossians 4th chapter, 2nd verse, and it goes, "Be persistent in prayer and keep alert as you pray, giving thanks to God." Persistent in prayer. That's good. And keep alert as you pray. That's another good idea. Omnipresent life, flowing through and expressing as all life, reminds us of our divine unity today. We're reminded of the joys that come from contemplating oneness with our source, the source of everything there is. We're all reminded that the truth is not limited by vocabularies or traditions, but the all in all can be experienced by every person who walks the earth. For this sweet communion, this universal truth, we give thanks. Adonai, El Shaddai, Jehovah, Allah, Goddess, God, higher power, divine mind, Mother, Father, Spirit, Holy One. Just a few of the names that we can use to address God. But the names don't limit us in any way. Love by any name is everywhere present, everlasting, certainly is all-inclusive. And so it is that in many names we deny the place in our human conversation, our national conversation, our consciousness, and we declare that the blessings of God, or whatever we call him, are at hand, are right now, for our nation, whom we pray for after every service, for communities, this community, other communities everywhere, and certainly for us as we connect day by day with that infinite source, always accepting it, always believing deeply, deeply, deeply that it is the source, it is the solution. Within it is all power. We rejoice today and every day to know that. God is the all in all, and all is well. Now, these originally were the words of Dr. Durrell Watkins, who's the senior minister at the Sunshine Cathedral in Fort Lauderdale. And we thank him for those words, and I share them happily with you today. They were wonderful words. Well, I believe we have the pleasure of Rebecca now.
So today I'm playing a Baroque flute, which is different than a Baroque flute. It's from the second half of the 17th century, and anyway, this is what they used to play on.
Thank you so much. That was lovely. Just lovely. Well, it's time for one of the highlights, I think, most important times in our service. And that is the time when we just get still. Still ourselves. Relax. Let our shoulders down. Our arms and hands relaxed. And getting still puts us in tune with something that isn't physical, that is everywhere within us and around us, the ground of the universe. We get still enough, we get on God's wavelength. Peaceful, relaxed, taking some little deeper breaths, breathing a little more slowly, and opening ourselves to the abundant good that is right where we are. All we have to do to draw on it, to have it express in our lives, is to believe in it. It's like having $1 million in the bank and finally learning how to go to the teller window and say, I want my money, I want X amount of dollars. for that infinite supply, that infinite goodness and wisdom is the basis of all things. The fundamental universal energy. God everywhere, and we part of that infinite good. But we have to go to the teller's window and say, thank you, I'd like X amount. Or I'd like unlimited supply. Right here, right now. I want these problems answered. I want to be shown the way. I want to know what is the best decision for me. And it will unfold. It always unfolds. Just depends on our faith. If we can go to the teller's window and say, if you please, I would like. So many prayers are not answered because we don't have the faith. The things are unfolding in divine order for us, for others, close and far away. But if we just use a tiny bit of faith, just risk it. Thank you, dear God. Thank you, beloved one. Thank you, friend, comforter, companion. Thank you for problem solved, for harmony manifest, for good and more good. And then step back and watch. It'll amaze you. It'll encourage you to pray more. So let's give it a try right now. We have 90 seconds. That's plenty of time to go to God, to think of infinite good everywhere, in us, around us, in our lives, in the lives of the people around us. Let's feel peaceful and optimistic, still relaxed, closer and ever closer to God's wavelength. But He hears all things. So let's ask with faith, starting right now. Come unto me, all ye who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. That's the promise. Perhaps we need present help with a difficult person, a difficult situation, a lack, or something we want so very, very much. something we need. We go to the one. As we still ourselves, we're inspired to do X, Y, or Z. And the good begins to unfold. The promise kept. The blessings present. All good. Ours. For this and so much more, dear God, we give thanks. Oh, we trust. We feel that connection. And all is well. Amen. Well, it seems that I went right past the statement of being. I apologize. Let's say them both. We'll say the statement of being first, of course, and then we will say the Lord's Prayer. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am the individualized expression of God and am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. And then shall we say the beautiful translation of the Lord's Prayer from the Aramaic that the Neuro Foundation, Rocco Errico, has given to the world and has given a blessing to us. Together, Our Father, who is everywhere, your name is sacred, your kingdom is come, your will is throughout the earth, even as it is throughout the universe. You give us our needful bread from day to day, and you forgive us our offenses, even as we forgive our offenders. And let us not into imperialism, but you separate us from error, because yours are the kingdom, the power, and the song and praise from all ages, throughout all ages, sealed in faith, trust, and truth. Amen. Well, the title of my talk today is This is the Day. I want to read to you from the 118th Psalm. This is the 21st through the 24th verses. I will praise thee, for thou hast heard me, and art become my salvation. The stone which the builders refused is become the headstone of the corner. This is the Lord's doing. It is marvelous in our eyes. This is the day which the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Yeah. Now, would you humor me for just a minute? Would everybody who can please stand up? Okay. And having stood up, I would like you to say loudly just what we heard from the Psalms. This is the day which the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Okay, now? This is the day which the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Let's do it one more time. And do it loudly, like you're convinced of it. Okay? One more time. This is the day which the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. I thank you so much, you may sit down. Well, today, I want to stir the pot again. I want to revisit some old ideas. I don't know about you, but I forget these ideas, and they're valuable. They're good, helpful ideas. Could we maybe we do it for a little while and then we stop, something interferes and then we stop doing it. But what I'm going to be talking about today is the body-mind connection. And by the way, this is not just New Thought people talking about it. This is also experts in human behavior who tell us that if you get up in the morning and you look at yourself in the mirror and you smile at yourself and say, "This is the day which the Lord hath made, I will rejoice and be glad in it," it can make a wonderful start to the day, but it won't just be the start. It will change our mental state, and it'll move through our whole day. It'll change our days for the better. We shouldn't wait until we feel great to smile. If we smile first, we'll begin feeling greater. The body-mind connection is immediate and complete. I want to say that again. The body-mind connection is immediate, right away, and complete. And we can use it to make better whatever circumstances we happen to be right now. There's an old saying, "Fake it till you make it." And it's right. It's absolutely true. You smile, you relax physically, you let your shoulders down. You might take a few deep breaths, and you smile again, and you think of all the good things in your life. Think about them. And in a few minutes, you feel different. You feel calmer, you feel better, you feel happier than you did before. Try it. Bill Walsh was the football coach for the San Francisco 49ers some years ago. He won 3 Super Bowls while being the coach of the 49ers. And it was said that he had one of the best minds in professional football. He was the originator, I'm told, of the famous West Coast defense. Now, I don't know very much about football. I enjoy watching it from time to time. But maybe all of you do know what that is. And apparently it was very helpful to a lot of people. Now, Bill wrote a book, and he said something interesting in his book. He said that when a wildebeest or a zebra is trapped by a lion, the trapped animal will submit to the inevitable. Won't run, won't fight, nothing. Its head drops, its eyes glaze over, and it stands motionless and accepts its fate. That lion is going to eat it, going to kill it. Now, Walsh went on to say that when people are in adversity, they have a way of adopting exactly the same behavior. Same thing. He called it the posture of defeat. Your chin was down, your head's down, shoulders are slumped, and your arms are just hanging limply at your sides. This, he said, and he knew, this was the posture so often visible when players leave the field in the latter stages of the game and they are losing. I don't know if you've ever seen losers walk through that opening after the football game, and the losers look like it so often. So he pointed this out to his players, and he used this example from nature. And as a team, those men listened and became sensitive to what they were doing physically. Walsh told them that they should never, ever let this happen to them. He said, even in the most impossible situations, stand tall, keep your heads up, shoulders back, keep moving, running, looking up, not down, up. Showing your pride, your dignity, and your defiance. My goodness, how that paid off for him. And then, in his second season with the 49ers, they were losing halftime, at the halftime, rather, to the New Orleans Saints, 35-7 at halftime. But by the beginning, rather at the end of overtime, at the end of the game, they had won 38-35. 38-35. 29 unanswered points. They could have given up at halftime. They could have said, "Oh, we're out now. No time." Why try? Keep your head up, your shoulders back. Keep moving. Keep looking up. Show your pride, your dignity, and your defiance. Those words, Bill's words, paid off big time. The 49ers rose from the cellar to the top of the NFL in 2 seasons. 2 seasons. Of course, his great coaching had a lot to do with it, but it was also the attitude that he taught that helped bring that off. Posture, attitude, the words you're saying to yourself pay off. Instant, constant body-mind connection. Don't forget that. Posture produces performance. You slump your shoulders, you look at the floor long enough, and you end up feeling depressed and defeated. No, never do that. Stand tall, smile, and say, "This is the day that the Lord hath made. I will rejoice and be glad in it." Oh, it's going to be a good day for me. And it becomes a good day for me. Now, that stand tall and keep your back straight. That's one of the things I forget. I've been slouching since I was a kid. My mother used to poke me in the back and say, "Droite." She was French, which means, actually it means right, but it also means straight. She would kind of remind me. And all these years, I've had to work very hard to remember that. But it's just part of what we can do to convince our bodies that all is well. Body-mind connection. Because it is. God's here. God's everywhere. Now, just a couple of verses before "This is the day which the Lord hath made," before that, there are the words, "The stone which the builders rejected has become the headstone of the corner." Now, this verse might have grown out of an old Jewish legend that when they were building that great temple in Jerusalem, one of the large stones that had been selected for building the temple just wasn't the right size and shape. And so they just put it with the rejected stones. But the time came to lay the cornerstone, and it had to be chosen with great care because its position was at this critical corner of the building. And if it was faulty, the whole building could be unsound. It could come down. To the surprise of the builders, they discovered that the stone that had been rejected, the one that wasn't the right shape or whatever, that was the perfect fit. That was the perfect fit. And it became the cornerstone. In most Christian churches, this verse is really regarded as one of the messianic prophecies, one of the prophecies that pointed to Jesus as the coming Messiah. Jesus, who was rejected by the Jews, became the cornerstone who provided the perfect foundation for the whole structure of Christianity. But, there's another way to interpret this verse, different from that. Not as a pointing to Jesus as the cornerstone. We could interpret it actually and apply it to ourselves. Okay. The stone which the builders rejected has become the headstone of the corner. That's what 118th Psalm says. But if we ask ourselves, well, who are the builders in our lives? Those of us who go to a Divine Science Church or New Thought Church could well answer, well, like it or not, we're the builders of our lives. It's our decisions, it's our attitudes, our fears, our negative thinking, judgments, our feeling of inadequacy. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I hate to do that. I don't want to do that. Our resentments, as well as our faith, our trust in God, our patience, our persistence in acting on the spiritual truths that we know, not forgetting them, no, but remembering them at the worst times, at the times we really need them. And certainly we remember that God and good are synonymous, and both God and good are here, now, always. God's presence is everywhere, in everything. And as we remember that, as we think about that again, especially at the worst times, what we build is a temple, a spiritual temple within ourselves. We are the builders of our lives. We determine what happens so often to us. So, what about this misshapen stone that we have rejected since we're the builders? That stone can be looked at in another way. That stone could represent the biggest, most persistent, most upsetting problem that we have. It's the most frustrating, the most massive stumbling block in our lives. What the writer of Proverbs might have been trying to say to us is that we need to take a real hard look at that difficulty and consider that it might be, very possibly is, a potential cornerstone for us. It's sad but true. We learn the most from our most painful experiences. We remember them so clearly. We don't want to repeat that again. Usually, it is only in retrospect. It's only after we realize that, well, there were hidden blessings in those tough times, those times so long ago, and I didn't realize I never thought about it. What good came out of that difficulty, or those people, or that controversy, whatever, in my life. But many people's experiences at the most trying times can be also life-changing in a remarkably positive way. It's been said many times by many people. Cancer was the best thing that ever happened to me. Cancer? Why? Because it gave these people a new view of life, a realization of what was really important and what was unimportant. It gave life, family, work, friends, loved ones, God, another deeper, more satisfying meaning. It provided spiritual growth for these people. Now, when we think about any event, any person or situation or condition that we might have right now and are massively rejecting it. We don't want that in our lives. Get rid of that. God, please help me with this. I want no part of it. Let's consider for just a moment that it or they might be our teacher. Could it be that they would provide a lesson of understanding that you could never get in any other way? Instead of a stumbling block, could it possibly be a stepping stone? Could it be a stepping stone to believing and knowing a greater truth, practicing the ideas, the principles that we keep talking about in this room? Could the lesson that we need to learn be practicing the presence of God more, just through our days, remembering God's with me, everything's okay because God the good is right here, right now? Could remembering that God is in the midst of our bodies help us first to worry less and then to find ourselves overcoming physical difficulties? Could God right here, right now, held in our mind, transmit our finances into less than to more than? In our lives, God present right there. Could that change everything? Time after time, people have found that just giving up on their own resources and depending completely on God has changed everything and brought about wonderful results. The psalmist promises us, this is the Lord's doing. This is right out of the 118th Psalm. This is the Lord's doing. It is marvelous in our eyes. And you begin to see these things happening. And you give thanks. Oh, I needed that. And it unfolded just that way, just the way I needed it. Oh, God's reassuring us that God is active. God is involved. God is doing. God is helping us in the most subtle but most wonderful ways. Could the lesson we need to learn is greater compassion for some really irritating, too much person in our lives? Could it be we need to learn compassion for the many painful lessons that they are going to have to learn? Could we find sadness maybe in our hearts, a feeling of, oh, too bad for that person? Could we feel sadness rather than anger for the pain they have sown and the pain that they are going to reap, because we always reap what we've sown? And surely this does not promise a happy future when we make a lot of mistakes with other people. Could a greater inner freedom and sense of peace be our reward for seeing them truly as they are? They are our brothers and sisters in God. We're connected. Can't help but be. Everything is connected. Everything is connected with God and through God. Our brothers and sisters in the process of making mistakes and learning from those mistakes, painfully. Don't we all intuitively know that we are inseparably connected to them, to God, to everything and everyone? See if you can't make that rejected stone, that stumbling block, into a cornerstone for you. A more firm foundation in the truth of self-forgiveness forgiveness of other people, compassion, patience, trust in an omnipresent good. That will bring blessed results. Doing that consistently, that's the cornerstone. That's the foundation. That's a wonderful foundation. So, we find that just these few verses from the 118th Psalm contain really amazing gifts. This is the day which the Lord hath made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. It says we, but I'm saying it for me. You saying it for you. I will rejoice and be glad in it. And this reminds us that this body-mind connection is instant and constant. Stand straight. Maurita, drop, stand straight. Keep your head up and smile and say, this is the day that the Lord hath made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. That is the most wonderful way to start our day and start transforming problems into, instead of stumbling blocks, into cornerstones. Experiences that just build our faith. That faith foundation in a freer, more spiritual way. What a relief. What a relief. And if you said, this is the day the Lord hath made, I will rejoice and be glad in it. And then you might add, help me to be of service this day. If you added that, we make ourselves partners and co-creators with God. And that brings good into our lives and countless other people's lives. Wonderful idea. Yeah? Don't forget it. Don't forget it. What could be better than making ourselves happier, healthier, freer, more God-centered in that way? Let's go with it and give thanks that we have a bounty of ideas in divine science. And if we internalize them, if we think about the truth of them and invest ourselves in that truth, wow, what wonderful things can unfold. What good can be ours. What blessings can be for everyone around us, for our community, for all communities, because that which is positive, that which is love-inspired, that which is of God, spreads good everywhere. Thank you, beloved Father, Mother, friend, companion, protector, inspirer. Thank you for it all. Amen.
So there's going to be a brief pause between the first and second part. So let me know.
Now it's time for the blessing of the gifts. We receive so much in so many different ways, and so we want to give back. We want to give back in thanks. We want to give back in acknowledging the source of our good, and also sharing our abundance with others, with this church. And I'm sure in love and service and in connection, you share that abundance with many others. Today we want to thank you for the gifts to the church and to bless them at this time. Shall we read the blessing of the gifts? Today I acknowledge God, omnipresent, as the source of all good, as the source of my good. With this acknowledgement, I accept His will, which is abundance in every aspect of my life. I release all thoughts of lack and limitation, and I am open and receptive to the increased flow of abundance to me right now. I joyfully accept the gifts of life and give freely of the special gift that I am. Through me, God omnipresent blesses and multiplies this gift for all. Thank you, dear God.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, first off, we didn't have anybody sign up for flowers today, but anyhow, the ones we have are beautiful. So the flower calendar is pretty empty from now to the end of the year. Is that correct, Lindsay? Pretty much. So if you want to sponsor some flowers for Sunday, please give Nancy $25. Hopefully the week before, so she can go get the flowers. And she does a wonderful job. So please consider signing up for flowers. The real flowers are just so beautiful, and Nancy does such a great job with them. So if you could do that, we would appreciate it so much. As I told you last week, wrong with me this morning, that the Roanoke Metaphysical Church had asked us about having a service here. So starting the first Sunday in October, they will be meeting on Sunday nights at 7:30. They will be meeting the first Wednesday of every month. So on that first Wednesday, we will move our coffee to Thursday night. So instead of Tuesday, because Tuesday we have a Bible study here. And MCC has a Bible study on Tuesday nights at 7. So if any of y'all would like to go to that, you're free to do that also. So the church is getting to be a busy little place here, which is great. As I said before, we always wanted a full church. Be careful what you ask for. You might not get to do it what you wanted, but you're getting it. So there you go. So and we're very happy about that. So anyhow, I'll be talking to Rita, and we'll be getting some more details about other things. But anyhow, very happy to be able to help them out. I also wanted to ask you all to keep Lee Gouffre in prayer. She's having some health issues. She called me yesterday, so please do that. And I've been asked, I know that you all know that I do this live stream stuff on Facebook every week, and sometimes I promote it out for a whole week. It goes out for a week, but I can promote it for an X amount of dollars, and it goes out further out for a longer time. Anyhow, I checked it this week, and it reached 4,000 people. It means that 4,000 people at least clicked on our website. 1,000 of them at least listened to part of it. They may have listened to the music, they may have listened to whatever, but at least that's what happened this past week. So just want to let you know. There used to be $10 a week to advertise it further out. They raised it, as everything else, to $25 a week. So I don't know that I'll do it every week, but I would probably maybe do it one time for you and one time for somebody else speaks. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah, they raised the price, $15 a week. So but anyhow, it's all good. That money will be there. So, and speaking of money, the floor is done, and the painting's done, and we've got some touch-up stuff on the painting to do. But I want everybody to know that it's all done, and so enjoy it. We're still collecting money. Haven't talked to Laurel yet about how much we've collected, but we needed like $8,000. So we will be in the process of doing that. So continue to do. Yes, ma'am.
We've collected $670.
$670. Okay, well, we'll get the rest of it. It'll be there. So
we got a basket over here that you can put donations in for the floor. You can donate online. Make sure that when you give money for the floor that you tell Laurel that that's what it's for, so that she can put it in that account. Going forth with that, I know a lot of times we have everybody in this church contribute something. I mean, it doesn't matter what, washing dishes, picking up the trash, whatever. And I know a lot of times, I mean, I try my best to thank everybody as much as I can. But you all need to thank everybody. So when you get a chance, just thank everybody for the things that they do. Every little thing around here, Jerry does a lot. It takes a lot to do this church. And things go unseen, but don't take for granted that things just going to just be taken care of themselves, because everybody steps up and does things. And very grateful for all Jerry does with electrical work and the plumbing and everything else, and he just does it. I'm very grateful for that he has the knowledge to do that, because I'm not messing with any electricity, I can tell you that right now. So. But I do want you all to take the opportunity to thank people for what they do. So instead of me being the one that always does it. And going forth with that, as I said, the floor's been done. And there will be some changes, as you know, we move stuff around, and the store will probably have some changes going forth too. And Martha does a great job with that. She always has. She brought in, I can't tell you how much money over the last 4 or 5 years. Seems like the store's been here forever. I can't imagine that it hasn't been here. So anyhow, and we do appreciate that very much for the work that she's done. It is a lot of hard work. So with that being said, I know that people donate things, and we've said from the get-go that we want new or used or slightly used stuff, not something that's broken or whatever. Because some stuff, and Martha always finds a place for it. If we don't sell it, she finds a place for it. She always finds a home for it. So most stuff does not go unused somewhere. She'll find a place for it. So that also being said, I wanted to say also, when you donate something to the church, remember you've donated it to us. So if you paid $100 for it, don't expect that we're going to sell it for $100, because once you give it to us, Martha does what she thinks is best for it, or the church does. And sometimes we might even sell it for $1, but that's okay, it's $1 more than what we had. So just wanted to throw that out there, because I know that some people think, well, I paid you $100 for this, so you should sell it for $50. Well, this is an opportunity. As Pam said when we started this store, it's an opportunity store. It's an opportunity for you to buy something that you might want at a really good price, and it's an opportunity for us to make money, because we didn't have that money to start with. So just want to kind of throw that out there to people, and people continue to donate stuff, and I bought some really good stuff here for good price, and it was almost new, so I'm grateful for that. So anyhow, I just wanted to throw that out there, and so people would not be disheartened when they say I paid $100 for it, so why don't you sell it for $50 or whatever. So anyhow, and there are some things that I will put on Facebook. If you have something that you think might not sell in the store, you might think that we might get a better price for it, I go on Facebook Marketplace and sell things. I've done several things with that, and it's been pretty good. We've sold a lot of things on there. So anyhow, just wanted to pass that out there. Did you have anything that you wanted? Is anything coming up?
No, but we are continuing with our New Testament class for another couple this Monday and probably next Monday.
Okay. And also, I know Nancy's going to be doing a lecture, and we haven't quite. She talked to me the other day. We're going to try to find out or determine when we're going to do it. So I know with fall coming up, and your class will be over, so we're trying to work it in and see if it's best to have it in the evenings or on a Saturday, because some people want to come and some people can't come at night. So we're going to try to discuss that a little bit after church today, see if we can figure out when we're going to do it. Did you want to say anything about what it's going to be about again? So.
Well, I've been cavorting with Satan for the last 2 months. It is really I'm going to call it the social history of Satan. It is, it's been so interesting. It's like I can't wait to share it. It is so, just like you would never believe where the whole concept actually came from, how it was developed in early Christianity,
and how it is, the whole entire concept is fraught with politics. It's just been fun for me to actually investigate it and everything. So it's not really something we actually talk about as New Thought people very much, because we know that the concept of evil and the devil and Satan is actually a state of mind in our own consciousness when we think that we have encountered it. That it is not a person, it is not separate, it is not outside of ourselves. But the development of Christianity, actually early Christianity and other more traditional Christian religions, still rely on Satan as a concept that's very important to their basic belief system about God. And so, if you have any interest in just coming to hear that, I'd love to have you. So anyway, we can't decide when to do it because so many people have so many different needs, and it probably won't be until either October or early November. So, but anyway, it's actually extremely fascinating. So anyway.
Okay, we'll try to figure out a date, or dates, maybe have to do it twice.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So, we'll figure that out and hopefully have something in place by next week or whatever. And lastly, I just heard me say this many times. Everybody in this church is going through something. So just be kind. Watch those words as to what you say, because you never know who's listening, and you never know what you're going to say that's going to really affect somebody in a negative way or a positive way. But just watch your words, because, like I said, everybody in here is going through things. And a lot of times they don't talk about them, but there's lots of people going through a lot of things. So just keep that in mind. As Pam and I have these stickers on the back of our cars that says, be kind. And if anybody would like one, I'd be glad to buy me one, because I just love them. So anyhow, if you do, let me know and I'll get you one.
Okay, what is left now is a couple of important things. Certainly, we will add our prayers to many other people's prayers in praying for Ukraine, for a peace there, a solution to the terrible war that's taking place. Human lives and so much property just destroyed, danger everywhere for them. So shall we read together this beautiful prayer for them today? The light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you. The presence of God watches over you. The mind of God guides you. The power of God abides in you. The strength of God renews you. Wherever you are, God is as well. What a lovely prayer to say for them. And it helps. It's invisible, but it helps. Now, shall each of us in our own way, in our own words, talk to God about our own country, the divisions within it, the inharmonies, the difficulties, drought and fire and inclement weather, and controversy between people, between groups, that God is the great healer. So in the next 90 seconds, let's pray for harmony and good, whatever you're inspired to pray for, each in his own way, starting right now. hears every prayer. God knows our thoughts. God loves us for what we are saying, thinking, feeling toward Him. We know they do not go awry, but they hit the mark each and every time, especially when we say them from our heart. So this day we give thanks.